Alright guys, in today's video we have more PlayStation news and info to go over and cover, starting with the fact that Sony has spent a lot of money, maybe more so than we were expecting, on exclusive games and content, which is pretty interesting to look at because it should let you know that Sony is very serious about this if you weren't already aware of that. We're also talking about an interesting rumor that has popped up about a Horizon PlayStation VR spin-off based off of new job listings. But what's also interesting about this is that there was a leak that happened sometime last year that seems to have some credibility. We talked about it at the time it leaked, but I think a lot of people forgot about it. And I kind of just want to, put these two things together maybe. There might be more to Horizon Forbidden West or just the Horizon series than we might be aware of right now. And then finally, I just want to let you know that another PlayStation 4 title is getting a significant PlayStation 5 enhancement. So if you could do me a favor before we go any further and hit that like button to help the video out and show your support, I would greatly appreciate that. And make sure you leave a comment down below, leaving your thoughts on everything we discuss here today. Starting with the major investment that Sony has made, though, into second and third-party game development for the PlayStation 5, we have just discovered how much Sony has been forking out on publishing agreements and exclusive partnerships for PlayStation thanks to the newest quarterly securities report for the company. The report states under Section 9 commitments, contingent liabilities, and other, the following. Certain subsidiaries in the Game and Network Services segment have entered into long-term contracts for the development, distribution, and publishing of game software. These contracts cover various periods, mainly within 7 years. As of December 31st, 2020, these subsidiaries were committed to make payments of 34,360 million yen under such contracts. To clarify things, this means that in the current fiscal year, from April 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020, Sony has committed to spending $329 million on publishing agreements and partnerships for PlayStation, which will be paid out over 7 years. This is laying the groundwork for future partnerships and games down the line from other developers and existing developers within the PlayStation Studios ecosystem. Now, this is a pretty significant piece of information here because we all kind of knew, based off of what we saw with the last two major PlayStation 5 centered events, that Sony is definitely spending a significant amount of money and resources on securing second and third party exclusives. We've already been seeing that from them, but when you look at what they're doing with Square Enix, with Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy 16, as well as the upcoming Project Athia, you look at all of these smaller titles as well, the second party titles, you look at Returnal, you look at what they've been doing with Blue Point Games, and then you also think about all the rumors we've been hearing about all these other games that apparently Sony has in the pipeline, which are based off of agreements and partnerships with other known and established publishers. There were rumors about GTA 6, which obviously we don't know if there's anything to that. We all know about Silent Hill, Metal Gear, and various others, right? What this basically tells you is that Sony went bigger than we thought. $329 million is a lot of money. That's basically the equivalent of 2 or 3 major AAA games coming from Sony's first-party studios. Now, make no mistake, Sony's not going to invest more money into an outside studio developing an outside game or partnership than they will on their own internal AAA first-party exclusives. That's just unrealistic for them and just wouldn't make sense for them to do something like that. But what this is basically telling you is that they have kind of laid this out, and the important part that you want to pay attention to is the fact that it says this will be paid out over the next 7 years. That's about the same length of this generation, right? I mean, this generation could go beyond 7 years, but that's about the average time frame for a given console generation. So I don't know if they're going to be investing more than that. I have to assume they most likely will be. But at the start of this generation, I have no doubt in my mind that Sony made the rounds to pretty much every publisher and every developer and tried to see what type of deal they could strike. So I think this is exciting. I mean, there are still plenty of games that we don't know about yet that I'm sure we're going to learn about over the next year or two, and they will fall within this $329 million agreement that they have, apparently signed off on here. So we're going to move on from that and talk about some Horizon rumors, okay? Now, I'm with you guys here, right? Like, I want to see more of Horizon Forbidden West. We got that trailer, and while it's a great trailer and it revealed a lot about the game, it also kind of didn't reveal that much about the game, right? It's worth noting, as I said, that there was a significant rumor surrounding not just the next Horizon game, that being Forbidden West. At the time, we didn't know about Forbidden West. It was actually surrounding the Horizon series, but let's start with this new rumor that popped up. So rumors about a Horizon PSVR spin-off title have once again been reignited following a series of new job listings at the Persistence developer Firesprite. According to the recruitment drive, the studio is staffing up for a, quote, VR action-adventure project adapted from one of the most original and successful multi-million selling console IP titles in the last 10 years, unquote. So it's kind of specific. It doesn't obviously name the game, but that is a pretty specific sentence. Goes on to say this isn't the first we've heard about the new project either, as it previously mentioned a multi-million selling action RPG and actually name-dropped PlayStation VR. One job position for lead producer reads as follows. This is an exceptionally exciting project partnering with the IP holder to create a whole new chapter in the exciting and highly original universe they have established, utilizing the full immersive capabilities in VR to build a new narrative for fans and newcomers alike. While Horizon hasn't been mentioned specifically, it's worth mentioning that a Horizon VR spin-off was supposedly in consideration at Sony some time ago, with its London studio reportedly behind this project. Since then, however, PSVR has been given the boot from its website, suggesting the game has changed hands. Now, just talking about Sony's London studio, the latest rumors with that studio is they've actually been given the green light to work on a full-blown AAA project for the PS5. Apparently, some people think it might actually be the return of The Getaway, which is interesting. But this is interesting because, you know, it seems to, whatever they're working on, it's clearly with Sony and PSVR. There's two major questions here. I think the biggest question is, wait, is this for the next version of VR or the current version? If I had to put my money on it, I'm going to say they're working on the next version of VR. It just wouldn't make any sense, in my opinion, for Sony to be working on any major new games, because this sounds like it's pretty significant for the current version of VR, because let's be honest, it's kind of done, right? Like, everybody at this point who's interested in VR is just waiting for the next iteration. And Sony did make it clear it's going to be quite some time before we hear about it. So whatever this is, it might be a long time until we learn about it. But I think the second question too is, like, you know, is this in fact Horizon? I mean, they talk about it being one of the most original, most successful console IPs, right? So they say console IP, basically making it known that it's an exclusive, if it's for PSVR. So it really does kind of, in a way, point towards Horizon. But let me point you in the direction of a previous leak that I'm positive most of you have forgotten about. Okay, this was a leak that came out sometime last year. It was actually April 24th of 2020. And reading this from VGC, it says Guerrilla is planning a Horizon Zero Dawn trilogy. And so it says multiple sources have told VGC that SIE has greenlit ambitious plans for the post-apocalyptic open-world franchise, which debuted in 2017, selling 10 million. And it actually did post an update on June 11th with this article confirming Horizon 2, or, you know, Horizon Forbidden West. But the original story, Horizon, is obviously set in the far future, yada, yada, yada. We already know about that. But it says the next installment, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, which they were calling it at the time, started development soon after the first game's successful release, sources said. Initially, the game was planned for PS4. However, it's thought that development has now entirely shifted focus to the next-gen console. Now, I find that interesting because, you know, looking at what we know now, obviously, yeah, it did start on PS4 because it's going to release on PS4. Horizon Zero Dawn is said to be gigantic in scope, with a larger game world and more freedom to explore than its predecessor. People with knowledge of the game also indicated the inclusion of a co-op feature, although it's not clear if this is delivered via the main story or a separate mode. At one point, Guerrilla Games was planning to release a standalone co-op preview, with progress carrying over to the later full version of Horizon Forbidden West. This is what one person involved told VGC. However, they're not sure if these plans are still in place. Apparently, co-op is a feature that Guerrilla has long intended to introduce to the series, and it's understood that PlayStation was equally keen to see online functionality implemented into the sequel. It says a co-op feature was initially planned for the first game, but ultimately had to be scrapped due to development constraints. So I just find all of this very interesting because I think that most of us forgot about this leak, and I don't know if this leak has anything to do with this PSVR Horizon spinoff rumor. Maybe it could. Maybe this is like the multiplayer spinoff, you know, separate mode that's being talked about, or co-op separate mode here, but it's being done for VR. I think that would be a little strange. I think it would make more sense for it to be something that's not just VR, but either way, it really does sound like Sony's doing some big things with the Horizon franchise, and it's weird because they've been so quiet about it and they haven't revealed too much about it. A lot of people, you know, believe that there's no way Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok are both releasing in the same year. And honestly, like when I read stuff like this, if it is true, like this is much bigger in scope, right? Like it's just a much bigger game. I do start to think, you know, maybe there is no need for Sony to release God of War Ragnarok this year. Maybe Horizon can be like that big holiday launch, you know. But either way, it's exciting. I would absolutely love to have some type of co-op, optional co-op, of course, in Horizon Forbidden West, or a spin-off game. I think that would be really exciting. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. But I want to end this video just letting you guys know that apparently Marvel's Avengers finally has a PS5 release date. Now, I don't know if there's really much hype left for this game. Apparently, it was a big disappointment. But Square Enix has confirmed in a new trailer that Marvel's Avengers on PS5 will release on March 18th, 2021, launching alongside the upcoming Hawkeye content. As for what will be included with this version, we don't have full details right now, but it seems that it's going to, you know, offer DualSense support, which honestly, if I'm not mistaken, I think this article might be mistaken. I'm pretty sure we already got a list of confirmed features for Avengers for the PS5. I do remember Sony kind of outlining that in one of their blog posts before the PS5 came out. It's essentially going to support everything, right? It's going to have higher resolution. I would assume a little bit of ray tracing, DualSense support, faster load times, all that stuff that you would expect them to take advantage of, 3D audio. So yeah, there you go. Yet another game getting the next gen treatment. I think we're all kind of like, you know, patiently waiting for some bigger game releases to happen. It seems like things have completely died down, which is kind of understandable given the time of the year as well as everything that's going on. But seems like things are really going to start to heat up in April and May. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. Be sure to, again, leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.